Hi, I'm Rashid Ogunlaru, coach, speaker and author of Soul Trader, Putting the Heart Back into Your Business, and founder of soultrader.biz. I just wanted to stop by, first of all, to wish you a very, very happy new year and to wish you all the best for the year ahead. And just to give you a few tips to help you to get the best from this year for you personally and in terms of your business too. So first of all, happy new year to you. I want to touch on the personal side first, and then let's move on to the business, because it's so important that we think and put ourselves and our whole life first, because your business is an aspect of your life. If you're one for goals, tips and resolutions, then the first thing I want to say about this before we touch on business is that very often the reason millions of people set resolutions at the beginning of the year and they fall off the wagon within weeks, that the resolution's in pieces, often because we're not strategic enough, we're not holistic enough, we don't get the support, and we're not realistic enough about those particular goals. Often we'll just zoom in on one thing instead of looking at our whole life. So my 3 tips are: be holistic, step back and ask yourself what's important to your whole life, and then instead of setting just one resolution, be it related to giving up a habit or doing this or doing that, set a goal for your health and your well-being, set a goal for your personal life, your home life, and then perhaps set a big goal for your career and your business. And we're going to be going on to looking at the business stuff in detail in a second. So those are my personal tips. So let's move on to in terms of your business, and that's really key. We do certainly need, don't we, a strategy for your business. If you don't already have a strategic plan for your business, a business plan, then I highly recommend that you write one. If you're looking for investment, yes, it might need to be very lengthy with all sorts of details in it, and it needs to be very robust. It needs to be robust anyway. But if it's just you running your business, or you've just got a small team, you're not looking for investment, then a simple 2-page business plan might do the job. Remember that you can get one in the Soul Trader book, and also you can get the template from soultrader.biz. So if you sign up for the free membership, there's loads of stuff that you'll access for free, including you'll have that access to the 2-page business plan template. So that's beautiful, so that you can use that as a living document. And that's the thing I'd say, a strategy should be a living document that you look at regularly, you review regularly. The second page of the 2-page business plan template is an action plan, so you can update it as certain things are done, you can add new things in it. And basically what the plan does is it will highlight, okay, this is my mission, this is the services, really succinctly and specifically, and then the goals, financial goals, marketing related goals, and operating and management goals. Again, there's tips in terms of how to complete that in the Soul Trader book. And if you've got my Coach Yourself program, then there's me there on the Coach Yourself program, on this online program, which is really affordable tool that just to help you and to guide you through how to complete that. But the book is also very useful. But you do need to be very specific around that. Specific is my key word there with the 2-page business plan, because your mind wants a plan. So that's the first thing about the strategy and the action plan. Once you've got your business plan and so on, put in a regular review it regularly. I do a regular weekly review, which is just 10 minutes looking at what's gone well, congratulating yourself on the successes and highlighting key things to be focused on moving further forward. I think that you also need to think about how it is you're organising your business and so on generally. Remember, there's external rules and regulations. Make sure that you're adhering to them. Sometimes it's good to make sure you spend enough time going to events and conferences where you might find out about what's going on in your industry, or build your network so you can also tap into other people who can tell you what's going on in your particular kind of field. And maybe there's websites or there's resources that can keep you in touch with that. It's important that you're in touch with the rules and regulations that relate stipulating to the business that you're actually in. That's really important that you're doing that. But also it's really important that you've got the right structure and systems in terms of your business, and that's going to change over a period of time. Maybe you're at a point where you're growing, you're taking on staff for the first time, you're thinking, oh, you know what, I need to do a management course, or you know what, my finances have now become more complicated and I'm now going to buy a book on business finance, what have you, or get someone else to help you. I'm not saying that you need to do all of these things yourself, but I am certainly saying that you need to be very mindful about it, and just to gently begin to consider what the best way is for you to address those particular areas. So yeah, we need to think about, okay, what's the structure like? Is it time for me to change my business shape or the structure? What are the systems that I have in place? And what's the space that I need? So first tip here, have a clear out at the beginning of the year, clear up the files, make sure you've got also, as well as your online files, you've got your paper files, break it down to the different different headings so that you can easily find the things that you need comfortably. These things seem that they're really basic, but they're really, really important, and use the quiet times in order that you can address things like that, because if you're not organised, you're going to very, very quickly to find that you're really struggling, or you're firefighting, or that you've got all sorts of challenges, or you just don't have a clear mind, you've got a cluttered mind. On that note, one of the things that I often spot when I'm coaching people is, is your computer covered with icons on the home page? It shouldn't be. You should just have 2 or 3 main headings and then your sub-files and so on, so you can find things quickly and regularly. What are the things that need to be systemized, and what are the things that need to be prioritized? Be mindful about that. There's lots of tips on stuff like that in the creativity section of the Sole Trader book. What can help you is to know what the key dates of the key things that you need to deliver are. What can also help is that if you have one of these files where you break it down month by month, that gives you tips on that. And what can really help is, if that's not your strength, find somebody where it is that is your strength. But what's really important here is not to get caught up in admin being where you spend all of your time. You need to be spending a big chunk of time, obviously, in terms of delivering your product or your service, or creating your product and your service, but you also need to make sure that you're spending a lot of time in terms of the marketing and the business development. The admin isn't actually the business in itself, that's supporting the business. The business is working with customers, and then also what's key is, and what's bringing in the cash, is going out there, networking, marketing, sales, and so on. So be mindful about what works best for you with that. Maybe you're a really good salesperson yourself, or maybe even the word sales doesn't even resonate with you. You're just really good at going out there and engaging with people and winning business and so on. Maybe you're really adept when it comes to social media, or whatever it is that works for you in your particular business. Or maybe it is that it's something that you pay for support in terms of. But really do be mindful about where is it that you are in terms of the marketing and sales, in terms of your business. It is one of the areas that for many sole traders, where we're operating from our heart, that we often forget about, strangely. We're so keen in the creative side, we're so keen on the people side, that we actually forget the cold, hard realities of running a business. And it doesn't need to be cold and hard. It can be warm and it can be soft and so on, but it does need to be something that you need to consider about the best way to do that. There's lots of tips, of course, in the conversations and the cooperation part of the Sole Trader book and Coach Yourself program about that. But I just want you to make you very mindful about that. How much time is that you really need to be out there engaging with people? If you've got a team, and is it that your strengths, and what are the strengths of your team, and how is it that you can continue to inspire them? Again, going back to the thing about the strategy, it's really important that you've got clear vision and that you communicate that to the people that you're working with, and so on. Don't forget that also when it comes to sales, marketing and business development, to articulate you and your story and your magic, because people will be drawn to that, and that's what's going to be really engaging with them. So that's really important too. I want to touch on a little bit about one final thing about this, the day-to-day stuff in terms of running your own business. What time do you need to be spending on the delivery? What time do you need to be spending on the product development? What time and how much time do you need to be spending on the marketing? Be mindful about that, and it might just be by making some small tweaks. Half an hour here, more on this, or half an hour there, more on that, will help you. If you're struggling with this, do get support. If you've got the budget, yes, hire an expert, a coach, a consultant with that particular skill, or somebody who can deliver that particular task or that bit of support that you need. But if you don't, be creative. Again, there's all sorts of tips in the creativity section of the book and Coach Yourself program about how it is that you can swap, how you can work strategically with others, how you could partner up, how you can exchange, and you know what, the whole thing in the book about building a business through relationships, going out, connecting with people, telling people what you're doing, helping them, seeing how they can help you, especially when it's done strategically in terms of what you're wanting, and engaging your heart too can be very, very powerful for you in terms of your business. But do make sure you do go out there and seek support if and when you need it. Do you need a mentor? Do you need somebody like that to help you for a particular period of time? Are there other people in your life who could help you? You do really need to be mindful about that. The mindset is so key here with being running your own business. And I want to close with a couple of things. One is about distractions. So we've talked a little bit about how it is, on a day-to-day level, how much time you need to spend on things. But also you need to be mindful about what it is that energizes you and makes you feel buoyant and engaged, and to work that way. It's not all about goals, plans and strategy. You might be somebody who's very, your instinct, your intuition and your impulse is really good. So trust that, enable that. Make sure that you're nourished by nature and all of those things that can help you to be buoyant and to be creative and to be inspired, the kind of things that make stuff happen. Do that. But also be mindful also about the things that are draining to you, the people and the stuff that is kind of draining to you as well. Again, there's heaps on this in the Coach Yourself program, if that's something that you're interested in, that you'll find on the website. But know what the kind of things that drain you, that drain you, and so that you can focus on what your strengths are and getting people who've got strengths in other areas to support you. Don't be afraid to have that conversation with others, because then you can begin to find out what help and support it is that you need. But also I want to touch briefly on distractions. You've got to know what your distractions are. Very often all the best laid plans or ideas, or you might be the most creative person on the planet, but what you're doing day to day is going to be the key to what your success is. So be mindful about what distracts you, and I would say also address that distraction. If you know that you often get distracted by social media, put in a little bit of time that feeds that, so that you were able to, perhaps at lunchtime, what have you, deal with the with that aspect. So that part of you is honoured, and you're not trying to quash it, but you do manage that, and you enable it to be and breathe, but in a manageable, kind of healthy and holistic kind of a way. Finally, all I want to say to you is to enjoy every step of it. When things aren't working, just stop, check in with yourself. Ask yourself how it is that you feel at heart, not just what you think about stuff, and that will help. And just to my overriding tip with all of this is, if you're wanting something good to come out of what you're doing, put something good in. Make sure that you've always got good intention of the stuff that you're creating. Focus on producing a good product and service to start off with. Spend that time to make it sure it's as good as it can be. Really engage with your customers, with your potential customers. That's an important tip for those of you who are starting out. Go out there, talk to people, chat to them, tell them what you're doing. Perhaps even before that, find out about them, what's really important to them, so you actually understand your customers, so you can actually win their custom. That's really so important. I meet so many people who get so caught up in their own ideas, they're not actually engaging with their potential customers. Again, there's heaps on that in the Soul Trader book to help you with that side of your business. And make sure that you keep taking the time for you, for fun, for fulfillment, for your own health and your own fitness. If things aren't working, just again stop, pause, reflect, regroup, recharge, re-energize. It's not that important. Sometimes we think the things that we're doing and when we're doing it are just so important, but sometimes when you step back, then you really see what's really important in life. This magical experience of actually being here, and the magic of actually producing something of service and benefit for others. So those are my thoughts and my tips for you for this year, and I wish you every ongoing success and happiness. There's lots of stuff and resources that I've touched on already. There's the website. You can sign up for the newsletter. There's a free membership with all sorts of tools, some of which I've talked about. The podcast, there's webinars, there's lots of that stuff that you can access free. Perhaps you're watching this on YouTube. There's our YouTube channel. I mentioned the podcast. There's inspiring interviews. With relation to the podcast, you can also subscribe to them on iTunes. Please do put your comments below these videos. Please, if you're listening to podcasts, which are great also for those of you who are very busy, because you can listen to them when you're travelling from A to B, or when you're in the car, or when you're in the, when you're doing your walk or your exercise, or when you're in the gym, however it is that you want to work with it, because I'm mindful that many people are kind of what they say, time poor. So there's all of that stuff there, and there's the social media. You can like the Facebook page and stay in touch via the Facebook page, and of course there's the Coach Yourself program and the membership areas, so that you can begin to engage with others. So soultrader.biz, as far as I'm concerned, is actually your site. Bear with us, it's early days in terms of the site, but I just want to wish you every success, every happiness. Take care. I'd love to hear how it's all going, so do post those comments and give us your feedback, and thank you so much for stopping by and taking the time to listen. See you. Bye bye.